Laughing Vikings Live. High vibe chats with actors, comedians, and creators, plus stand-up comedy, sketch comedy, and most importantly, you. That's right, join us every Monday for new episodes, and you can be a part of the show on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch. Ask questions and interact in the comments, and make sure to share this with your actor, comedian, and creator friends so they can be a part of the show too. Can't make a live show? No problem. You can catch up on your favorite podcast platform and visit laughingvikings.com to find out how you can join the cast and crew. All right, it's time for today's show. Buckle up and make sure you stick around to the end because we have a special surprise for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Laughing Vikings Live. Happy Monday Fun Day. Let's go. Toronto Snowmageddon 2022. 18,000 feet of snow. No shovels or plows. What will happen?
I don't know.
Here we are, everyone. Welcome. We got dumped on, as my friend Travis Parniak from university would say. He'd be like, oh my God, we got dumped on. I woke up to messages about like, have you seen outside? Have you been outside? Oh my God, the TTC, the transit. And I went to open the door from the studio out to Comedy Alley, and Comedy Alley is no more. It is Snowmedy Alley. I couldn't even open the door. I wanted to take Luna out for pee, and she like got out there and she's like, what the fuck do you want me to do with this? It's like she would have had a tunnel like a mole through the snow. And she's like, there's nothing I can do with this. It's like I've never seen her. Like usually the second the door is open, she's like, fuck this, I'm out of here into nature. Mm-hmm. And she just walked and kind of looked and was like, what do I do with this? And she went back inside. So yeah, I think we got maybe 2 feet. So hopefully everyone stayed safe. It is a debacle out there everywhere. Brandon, what a fucking trooper. I'm saying you're gonna get podcaster of the week here. Because you took the subway to the connecting subway station where then you normally take a bus, which is real easy straight shot, but there were no buses. So tell me, the guy was just like, nah, we're fucked, there's no buses, you might as well just walk. What happened?
Well, I was standing there, and one of the bus drivers came up, and he's like, so are you waiting for the 504, 505? I was like, yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. He's like, oh, well, you don't want to freeze. And I was like, what does that mean? He's like, well, you'll be waiting a long time. And I was like, so does that mean there's no buses? It's like, nope, no buses. No buses been running for hours.
And you're like, should there be a sign or something you put up for that instead of... So you trudged? Were the sidewalks even plowed? How did you get here? Did you just walk down the middle of Broadview?
Oh no. I walked on the sidewalk, but it was like trudging through a foot of snow most of the way, because most of the sidewalks haven't been paved yet. Just because the President's is getting the roads clear.
Right.
But oh my God, I was hopping and jumping and leaping. So I don't even know how to describe it, Lars.
You see this?
It was a trek and a half.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone watching, this is the dedication this man has to help actors. He was willing to risk life and limb, getting hypothermia, getting buried in a snow avalanche, and he's here for you today. He could have done this podcast from home. Technically, this is a remote podcast. He could have done this from his own studio, and he messaged me earlier. He's like, I'm coming to the studio to do the podcast tonight. Come hell or high water. The good news is eventually you're going to have the classic grandfather story. You're going to tell your grandkids and your kids, you'd be like, kids, when I was your age, I used to walk both ways to podcast uphill in the snow, you pussies. Right?
If I can do it, you can do it too.
Right. Maybe you won't use the P word in front of your grandchildren. We'll bleep that part out. Pardon my French, ladies. Yes. Not appropriate. Not appropriate. I don't think you can say that anymore. You wussies. I don't know if you can even say wussies. Just
Oh,
we'll edit that out. Yeah.
okay, perfect.
I think you could just say losers. You could just call people losers. But
Losers.
well, you're here. You made it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We do have a great episode today.
Mhm.
Today's episode is entitled Four, count them, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 ways that you can get more auditions on your own. So whether you have an agent or whether you don't have an agent and you're unrepresented and you're like, how do I get into the game? We're going to talk about other ways that you can get your own auditions, aka your own opportunities to get on board. You can take some control and be in charge of your own destiny as an actor, rather than being at the mercy of your agent and other castings to send you emails. Ksenia, what's Ksenia say? They'd be like, what's a podcast? Yeah. Because your grandkids by then are going to just be in the metaverse. They'd be like, they're also going to be like, what's walking? What do you mean you walked? I just press a button and then I'm virtually wherever I need to go. You used to go places? That's insane. And then they go beep, bop, boop, and they just dissolve in front of you into the metaverse and they turn into a Bitcoin.
I'm gonna miss my grandkids.
Shout out to Ksenia. Ksenia is in sunny Los Angeles. I'm assuming they do not have 2 feet of snow in the beaches of Los Angeles. And Ksenia is a fantastic actor, also an amazing editor, which she downplays all the time. And she's a member of the Todorov Conservatory. And I've had the pleasure of working with her on several projects. And tomorrow we're doing a cold read in Tom's class. So exciting things. Thank you for joining us, Ksenia. And okay. So we're going to get into the 4 ways that you can get more auditions on your own. But first, a couple things. We want to shout out Audition Hero. For those of you who want to step into your dream role in 2022, we have a fantastic virtual training event coming up. It is January 27th at 6 p.m. is day 1. Going to be some virtual training, really interactive. We're going to talk about how to up-level your auditions, how to record professional auditions without tech troubles and without bugging your family and friends. And you can join us, save your spot by going to laughingvikings.com/audition hero. If you want to do that right now and come back to the podcast, I'm giving you permission. You can leave. Go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero. It's also in our link in bios all across social media. But save your spot. You can join us. It's going to be very interactive, great community. You're going to get to meet people across the entire world that you can potentially collaborate and meet. And Little Birdie says there might be some prizes. So get on board. Go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero, and you can step into your dream role in 2022, because God knows the world needs more heroes. Am I right?
I can be a hero, baby.
And they say that a hero can save me. I'm not gonna sit and play. Oh. More heroes like Brandon Knox you're our audition/podcast hero, trudging through the snow like a good Canadian.
I'll get here no matter what, right. Lars.
Yes. So be sure to join us for Audition Hero. And before we get into the top 4 ways on how to get more auditions for yourself, we want to do something special. We've actually never done this. We're going to do some actor client shout outs here for Laughing Vikings Actors Audition Club. We're going to highlight some of the people that we worked with. We get a lot of great reviews. People take the time to give us some feedback online on Facebook and Google. And we want to shout out some love here and just send some love back and get that love train going. So I got one queued up here. This is on Google. We've got 70 Google reviews for Actors Audition Club here at Laughing Vikings. And I'm proud to say they are all of the 5-star nature, 70 of them. And we got a recent one here. This is from Danielle Marie. She says, I had a phenomenal time at Laughing Vikings. They accommodated me in a stressful situation after losing my reader. We've all been there, flaky friends and family members. And Brandon, the actor who read with me, was very helpful. He gave me some great notes. They are so kind and generous, and they have an adorable studio pug. Overall, my first experience with them was amazing. I know where I'll go next time I need help with a self-tape.
Yeah.
Brandon Knox, what a hero. All right, we'll just trade back and forth. We'll go back and you read one, I'll read one.
I got
out
one.
To Danielle, congrats.
Yeah, thank you, Danielle. It was great working with her as well. She's such a fantastic performer, so great at viewpoints, such a great mover. So I have one from Andrew Park, who is an Actors Audition Club member, and he says, 5-star review, by the way, definitely worth it. Worry and hassle-free environment, equipment, people, props if you need it. They've got it all. I highly recommend this place for self-tapes, audition preps, and even the live Zoom auditions. So great work from Andrew. He's always comes in and does such a fantastic job. He always comes in like ready to go. And I love working with Andrew. He's so much fun. Shout out to Andrew. Thank you. Thank you for being you.
Shout out to Andrew. We got another recent one here. We got Jamie Hart. Great place to self-tape. I highly recommend booking with Brandon if you have a role that you're nervous about. He's super calm and fun, and he really helps you extend your comfort zone. Man, we're getting a lot of BK Broiler shout-outs here. All right, your turn.
I got Chris Robinson. Ooh. I love doing my self-tapes at Laughing Vikings. The quality comes out great, and their assistance with scene work always elevates my performance. I would highly recommend doing your next taping here. So great shout out to a friend of the podcast and guest of the podcast, Chris Robinson.
Yeah, check out his episodes. And shout out to Chris Robinson. He's going to be a part of a virtual stand-up show that Laughing Vikings is producing, and I'll be hosting. I don't know if it makes sense to say the dates, but check out laughingvikings.com or follow us on Instagram, and you can hop on a virtual online Zoom comedy show. And it's going to be Chris Robinson, Martha Chavez, and Sean Cullen. So we got a stacked lineup. It's this Saturday, which is Saturday, January 22nd. If you missed it, so sorry, but if you're watching this live, you can still get tickets. Since we're all sort of back in restrictions and lockdown, you might as well laugh, as they say. Laugh it up while you're locked inside. All right, I've got one here from Adam Fawns. He says, I've done several self-tapes with Brandon. Always a great experience. Perfect setup, efficient, great reader, great notes, brings out a better take every time. And he and Lars are always up for a chat and a chuckle. The Laughing Vikings equal 100% professional, 0% pillagers. That's right. We're the Laughing Vikings, not the horrendous burn your town down and take all your stuff old school Vikings. Trying to get a new... I'm doing the PR fix on Vikings. They have a violent history, and I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to woken up the Vikings here to the rest of the world. What else we got here?
I got one more before we should get into the main topic for today.
Let's do a few more. I'm loving this. Let's do these shout-outs. These people deserve the shout-outs. We'll do more.
So I got one from Rohane Aurora, and he says, not all places take a personal investment in your success. So if you're looking to work with other actors who care about your projects, this is the place. I had a huge opportunity. Lars gave me an additional 30 minutes. He didn't rush me or offer his best expertise. These guys kill comedy. Book them. So Thank you, Rohane. I believe he's in Vancouver now.
Yeah. He popped out to Vancouver.
Sessions every now and again. So
yeah. I did some Zoom. He was so fun to work with because he was not every actor is like that, where he was just always so open to suggestion. Like everything I threw at him, any of the guideposts or any little creative idea, he was just like, "Oh yeah, I'll try that." And we literally would go line by line, beat by beat, almost word for word, and just anything I could give him, which is of course all based on guideposts and Michael Shirtliff's audition and the Todorov technique. And one of my favorite things is often he would book on Saturday nights. So I was doing the Saturday workshop with Tom during the day, getting all this stuff in my head, and then I would immediately get to go like reteach it and or redirect to another actor, which I always find the best way to learn something is to immediately try to teach it to someone else. Not try to teach it, immediately teach it to someone else. So shout out to Rohane. We miss you, Rohane, here in person. So hopefully you come back soon. But killing it in Vancouver. I've got one here from Mr. Phil Lutzi, a member here of Actors Audition Club. And he's one of the OG originals. I think he's been coming since 2017. And he says, my agents are always pleased with the quality of work produced by Lars and his team at Laughing Vikings. They work with you to enhance your performance, make suggestions, and never rush. Booking online is easy, even same day, and the membership saves you money. Cha-ching. Shout out to Phil. And just BT dubs, my response on Google was, Phil Lutzi for Prime Minister.
He should be Prime Minister. I'd vote for Phil.
I think a lot of people would vote for Phil. He's beloved. He's completely beloved. You got another one there? Go find me another one.
From Drew Seeley. Such a great experience, great quality self-tape, great reader, great coaching, great price. Will be my go-to place for any auditions that come up in Toronto. Thanks, guys. And Drew was such a fun person to work with.
Oh, yeah. Drew, for anyone who doesn't know Drew Seeley, look him up. He's done a ton of work. He's done shows with Disney. He was a part of High School Musical. He's an amazing singer. Like, he's a bona fide pop star himself. He was just up here in Canada recently for a couple of Hallmark type movies as well, too. So, yeah, super successful. The nicest guy ever. And one of the things you could really tell, I think part of this is because he is a singer, but his voice control and voice power, it was like, oh man, this guy knows what's up voice wise. Like there was not a word you couldn't hear. There wasn't a thought that he didn't drive through with his voice at the end of a sentence. You could really tell that like this is a professionally trained actor with a professionally trained body and voice to go along with that. So shout out to Drew. All right. You find one more because I just lost my page here.
Okay. Chris Sandiford. I got one from Chris Sandiford. And he says, this has been my go-to spot for self-tape since I moved to Toronto in 2017. Lars and the gang have always been the best resource for me when it comes to taping auditions. If you don't want to bug your friends, bug these guys. He spelled that wrong, but it's all right, Chris. I forgive you. I love you.
Yes, and now we have become friends.
Yeah.
That was great. So shout out to all the actors. It's like over the past 4 years that we've been helping actors with auditions and self-tapes here. It's been a joy. It's been a pleasure. Every day that I have where I'm not on set or not on stage or not doing my own auditions, it's a thrill to get to work and get to be an actor and help other people. And we had this conversation a while back. Now, when I think about it, I might have, if you add up all the audition sessions, I might now have spent more time behind the camera directing actors than I have in front of the camera, which kind of blows my mind. But I've made up for like in the last 5 years, we've done hundreds. Now we've done thousands. I think just this last year we did about 700. So over the 4 years, we've done thousands of them. And that's an hour every time of breaking down scenes for TV and film and giving actors suggestions and punching up their scenes and helping them add moments before and helping them add little buttons and helping them find a cool viewpoint or something creative and fun. It's the best. It's great. And one of the best things ever is most people, when they book the roles, they message us and give us the good news. So we on a weekly basis get great news from actors telling us that they booked a role on a TV or on a TV series or in a film or in a commercial that brings a lot of cash to them. So it's been great. It's been great. And shout out to you because you get a lot of great reviews too. So that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. So let's get into it here. We're going to talk about the top 4 ways that you can get more auditions as an actor on your own without your agent, because everyone knows that. I mean, you want to land an agent so that they have access to the top tier projects in your region. And now with self-tapes and Zoom and remote virtual auditions, even accessing opportunities that are outside your region. But you want to be proactive, and you don't want to be the type of person that is only having things happen when someone else does them for you. So we're going to talk about some other options. So number 1, pop it up on the screen. What do we say? Social media. So what does that mean? It just means connect with every actor site that you could possibly connect with. All the casting directors often have pages. Twitter is a great spot for it. So I would say Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. These days, a lot of casting directors also have YouTube channels too, where they're posting tips and tricks and hacks and best practices. So I would say, like, start with whatever platform you use the most. TikTok these days now too is probably a pretty viable one, where they're putting little TikTok videos and or Instagram reels about these are the top 5 traps, or these are the top 5 tips. And you follow those people, and often not only do you get a vibe for what they look for, because every casting director is different with their preferences. There's, like any industry, there's rules, like the things you don't do and the things you do, but everyone has exception to those rules. Some casting directors don't care about props. Some casting directors like never use a prop. Other people would say be verbatim on the script and never improvise. Other people would say, oh, I love it if you can improvise a little bit and add a little bit here and there. So you can get to learn every casting director's idiosyncrasies. But also they're posting often these days. I know here in Toronto, all the casting director sites, they're posting them on the traditional casting casting websites where the agents would find them, but often they're just posting breakdowns on social media so they can cast a little wider net, potentially to reach actors who are not represented. So just like literally Google casting, or maybe not Google, but go onto Facebook, go into the search and type in casting director or casting or acting, and then add all these groups, add all those pages, and just follow them, interact with them. Be cognizant of not being like pushy or that weirdo actor that's like immediately slipping in the DMs to be like, hey, look at me. Develop relationships with people. Often the strategy is a few comments, like a post of theirs, comment, say, hey, this is great, I really love that, very insightful, and then keep doing that so that you start to pop up on their radar, and then maybe they click on your profile and they're like, hey, you're an actor. Or maybe because of that interaction, you start popping up into their feed, so that when you're posting your demo reel or posting news about the new show that you're in, or the new production that you're a part of, or the new play that you're going to be in, they'll start to see that. And then once you do have a relationship, maybe you can eventually say things like, hey, I just wanted to invite you to my play. We're opening night next week. Your name's going to be on the VIP guest list. It's on me. Feel free to come by, check out the show. Anything you want to add to that social media? We're trying to give you like actual actionable tips and or tools and or things that you can actually do.
And I know you touched on networking as well, and like even it's not even just with casting or casting directors. It's also with just random people. There was somebody I met on Instagram named Mowgli, who I'm still friends with, and he has put me in a music video of his. And like, so we did that together, and we still talk. We still share videos. We still like just develop relationships with people. Even if you're looking just to practice, there's Zoom reads where people are looking for actors to read over Zoom their scripts, and there's tons of groups out there for that. And so just keep brushing up your skills. Like, there's so many things that you can be doing with your time rather than waiting for your email to ding or your phone to ding with the next audition. There's so much you can do.
Right. Lamenting, oh, woe is me. It's been a month since I got an audition. It's like, go out and get it, let people know who you are. And just remember that it's called social media. So a lot of social media sort of best practices are, how would you, if you walked into a room with these people, how would you approach them? How would you talk to them? How would you chat them up? And if you're doing awkward, weird, pushy things that people are like, that rub, like, you don't want to burn bridges immediately by getting in people's faces, being like, hey, I saw you're a casting director. I'm an actor. Can you please book me? And here's my headshot that a non-professional took. And it's just a selfie. And here's my TikTok reel as my demo. Like, you'll burn that bridge. And one other thing that I would say is and this I can say without a doubt, this has made me thousands of dollars in my career when I add up the bookings. But look for casting notices that people fit. You don't know how many times, like, I'm notorious for this, and I will tag everyone. Like, if I see a breakdown and it's like 60 to 70-year-old female grandmother type, Ray Kennington is getting a tag. So I'm always tagging my friends and other actors that I know. There's also a lot of other producers and directors who are like, they're booking shorts, and they'll reach out to me and they'll be like, hey, Lars, do you know anyone? So the more, like, call it like booking karma you can get out there. And then what happens is you end up getting tagged by all those people, because what do we want to do as humans? When we get paid a favor, there's something in us innately where we, like, almost feel bad. It's almost like a weird psychology hack that if you want to get something done for you, help someone first, and they're like, oh fuck, this guy's tagging me and booking me and recommending to me to these directors. Like, I got to do something to pay back this favor now. And sooner or later, when they see something that fits you, you'll get the tag on Facebook, or you'll get the DM on Instagram saying, hey, my director friend is casting, the breakdown fits you perfectly. So put out that karma, and all those good vibes, helping other people, and it comes back. I've had direct bookings that, like, in one booking, it's over $1,000 for a day on set, where I was just tagged on Facebook as a friend, and it was someone who I had tagged several other times every time I saw them. So the more you can do that, like, almost think of yourself as a casting director or an agent yourself. If you could be like an agent to 50 of your other actor friends and put out all these good vibes, it will no doubt come back to you in some shape or form. Maybe not equal. I don't think you should be like keeping score, being like, oh, what the fuck? I've tagged this person 3 times and they haven't tagged me once. Never think.
They're also your friends, right? Like, you want to tag them.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, again, it's that the thought of a rising tide lifts all boats. So if your friends are doing well and they're connected and they're getting work and they're happier and meeting more people, and you're in that network, it is about community, and that's what social media should be about. Joining all these communities and getting known and building relationships. So use social media. It's fucking amazing. The fact that we have, like, we've said this before, there's no better time. If any part of you right now is like, oh, this is the shittiest time to be an actor, you have social media, so you have global distribution, you have global connection, you can access markets that you could never access before. You could literally DM like celebrities and end up having chats with them. It's incredible. Plus, in your phone, you have a camera that at one point in history, only the 5 old white men that own studios in Hollywood would ever be able to access. So there's no, like, we live in the golden age of media here. So please take advantage of that. And instead of scrolling, comparing yourself to people and being like, oh, look what they got, use social media and your phone as a business tool to make money and to be proactive, rather than just like droning away looking at garbage reels. Although, man, can I ever sink into an Instagram reel wormhole? I'm really good at Instagram reels these days. All right,
making
number 2,
them and watching them, Lars.
more so watching them.
Hey, but you make them.
All those songs are so catchy. What you know about rolling down in the deep end? Like,
the editing on TikTok is incredible. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't know why people aren't on TikTok. They should be, because like you can make so many videos on it, and it's a global market.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So much opportunity. All right, number 2 way. What's number 2? Bring it up. Number 2 is the traditional casting websites. So your agent has access to all of these websites. Often they have access to a lot of the breakdowns that someone who's unrepresented or who isn't an agent has access to. But if you're unrepresented, or even if you are represented, there's still a lot of things that you can proactively see on these sites. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about Actors Access, actorsaccess.com, castingworkbook.com, castingnetworks.com, Backstage, which is mainly US. Another one is Stage 32. And again, Google is your best friend. Google casting websites, and there's probably twice as many as I just named. But then you go in and you can see, like, there's been many times where I've gone into Casting Workbook. I try to make it a regular thing. I haven't been doing it recently, but I'll go into Casting Workbook and Actors Access, and I'll see what's casting. And sometimes I beat my agent to the punch. It's very rare. Usually I'll message her and be like, yeah, like, hey, I saw this is casting. Anything in there for me? And then she'll be like, yeah, I just submitted it yesterday. Haven't heard back yet. So she's pretty on the ball. But remember that your agents are busy. Chances are you're one of 50 or 100 people on their roster. You can't always be top of mind. They only have so much mental space, and they only have so much time in a day. So take control. Don't sit back. If you see on a casting website that there's something that fits you, or just a project that you're interested in, you're like, holy shit, there's this new project, this new series with somebody that you love. They're doing season 4 in your region. Go on there and be like, this is happening. I want to get in this. I love this show. I want to get on it. Can you submit me for this? People underestimate how often a little nudge to your agent, and then they in turn give a little nudge to a casting director, and boom, next day you're in the room, or you're submitting a self-tape, and then now you're top of mind on that casting director. And then over the next 2 months, every time something comes up, they're like, oh yeah, she did a great job. Let's have her in for this project too. And let's have her in for that project and this project. And all of a sudden you just spent a little extra time that reminded your agent, oh yeah, you'd be great for this. And then they remind the casting director, oh yeah, she'd be great for this.
Yeah.
It happens so much. Yeah. And there, if you are unrepresented, you won't necessarily have access to all of them, but going on those sites can get you access to professional, often union, either ACTRA or SAG-AFTRA productions that you wouldn't have access to without having an agent that you can see, and then you can get a self-tape request. And nowadays it's global too. Like a lot of these big shows, or even like Marvel things, sometimes they're looking for the diamond in the rough. Sometimes they don't want a name, they want fresh faces. So they do this wide global casting where people from all kinds of countries can submit a self-tape, and you can be seen, and boom, that one opportunity, all because you started it by being proactive rather than sitting back twiddling your thumbs waiting for an email from your agent. So use those sites. And by the way, if you know any more, reach out in the comments. Let us know if you know any other sites. I mentioned Actors Access, Casting Workbook, Casting Networks, Stage 32, Backstage. But if you know any more, then throw them in the comments, or reach out, shoot us a DM, and let us know, and we'll add that to the next time we talk about this topic. Numero 3. Casting director workshops. So a lot of casting directors, every once in a while, a few times a year, they'll have a workshop specifically to reach out to new actors in their region, in their market, in person, or nowadays, I guess they're probably having Zoom ones as well. Couple caveats with these ones is it is a little bit pay to play, but in my opinion, for $300 to meet someone who has the potential to introduce you to opportunities that lead to 6 figures and beyond, it's well worth it. So some people will be like, oh no, I would never spend money. It's just a cash grab. It's like, I don't know, let's face it, everything is a cash grab these days, but it's also an investment is what it is. I would say a couple caveats. Make sure that the casting director that you want to meet is there. Sometimes they'll be doing it, but maybe they have casting assistants running it. And if your main goal is you want to meet Mr. So-and-so, the casting director, and then they're not there, then you might be disappointed.
Mhm.
Also, when you go there, be a normal human being and let your work speak for you more than your actor ambition. So rather than be the needy actor that walks into the room and is like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm meeting you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to be in your things. Be super well prepped, be super personable and charismatic, but polite, like a regular human, thoughtful, and so that they're like, oh yeah, this person's positive, they know how to work. But come in, usually they're giving you scenes to prep or audition scenarios to prep. They might do cold read exercises. So you really want to let your work speak, so that then they're like, yeah, I met this person, they're really nice, but they also did great work. They made great choices. They were super professional. They're very prepped. And then they're like, yeah, why wouldn't I bring this person in? So don't think that you're going to go to one of these and they're just going to bring you in because you paid $300, so that like, now they owe you a favor to bring you in.
Nope.
The bottom line is they got to present top talent who know what they're doing to the production team.
Mhm.
So you got to deliver the goods in that. And then you hope that the relationship blossoms from there. But I can speak to that. I've done those where I got to meet the casting director. I felt I did strong work, and then I did get self-tape opportunities for the projects that they were casting after that. And I got to know some of the idiosyncrasies, like their own personal do's and don'ts, and you can kind of keep a catalog of like, okay, this person hates it when you improvise. This person hates props. This like, so you get to know their preferences, and yeah, and you can tailor it, because again, there's rules are meant to be broken. There is no there's no hard and set fast rule. Like some people would be like, never use a virtual backdrop. I've booked projects using a virtual backdrop. So there's different strokes for different folks, and the more personal and the more specific you make those relationships with casting directors, the more info you have to arm yourself with and take advantage of these opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
You've been a part of those. Do you want to say anything more about those?
No, like it's such a benefit to, and it's like we talked about before. You want to develop a relationship with casting. You want to develop a relationship with people that you're going to be working with for the next 20, 50 years. Like that's what this comes down to, is developing that relationship and then continuously honing your craft, because the more you do it, and like we've discussed on this podcast before, acting is a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger you will become, and your work will show that and will reflect that. So sign up for casting director workshops, one, to develop that relationship with them, and two, to hone your skills. Nothing doing these workshops is not going to hinder you in any way. It's only going to help you get better. And that's what we're all about at Laughing Vikings, is we're all about helping you to get better so that you do book those 5 to 6 figure roles or beyond. Because we want to help you. We want to be there for your successes. We want to be there to make sure that you're feeling your best, because we know that when you're doing your best, that's the best tape there is. And like the more you're having fun with your audition, and the more free you are, and that comes from doing the workshops, that comes from doing the work, the better your tapes are going to be, and the more casting opportunities there will be for you.
Exactly. And one caveat I'll say, and our coach Thomas said this, is every business is about what you know first, and then who you know second. So be very careful and mindful of not putting the cart before the horse. If you sign up for these casting director workshops before you've ever done an acting class or an on-camera class, craft, technique, then you are setting yourself up for failure, because you're going to go in there as an amateur who doesn't really know what they're doing. You're going to make a shit ton of mistakes, and their first impression of you is going to be of someone who isn't ready to be put forth to a production team for a top level production. And they're going to be thinking like, okay, not only are they going to be not capable of delivering an audition, but God forbid they ever got on set. How are they going to, what's their set etiquette like? Do they know what they're doing on set? Do they know how a day actually works? So be very careful of not burning those bridges before you're ready. So just make sure you've invested in some classes and some coaching, and you know what you're doing as an actor first, versus thinking like, oh, I just need to get the people who are casting these to know my face and to know that I'm a nice guy, and then they're going to put you in. That's not the job. There is a job, there is a craft, there's a technique to all of this. And if you present yourself as an amateur, first impressions are so hard that to break. You only get one first impression, and if you do that, then it might be 3 years before that person is like, okay, yeah, I'll take a look at them again, just because there's only so much mental space for these actors. So how can they spend mental space in an actor who is nowhere near ready being seen, or nowhere near ready to be seen by these professional productions? So be wary of that. It's a balance of going after these opportunities and being very audacious and being very confident, but not being so overconfident that you just kind of look like a bozo who doesn't know what they're doing, and they're like, oh great, this guy again. Don't be that guy.
No.
Yes.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. Never be that guy. And don't be that girl either. All right. That was, what was that, number 3?
That was 3. This is number 4.
The number 4 way to get more auditions for yourself on your own is through your own personal connections. And we've sort of talked about that a little bit when talking about social media, but getting to know other actors, joining communities. You've been on sets. That means you know assistant directors, you know directors, you know casting directors, you know casting assistants, you know the directors and production coordinators from those. So it's when you have opportunities, being a professional, treating people professionally, and being a positive beacon of light on those sets. Like, man, if you get cast and then you're like the diva, or you're being a bit of a jerk to people, especially to people who you think, like, sometimes people change how they act around people based on hierarchy. So they're like amazing to the casting director, but they treat a casting assistant like some peon or like a waiter at a restaurant, where you talk to the manager really nice, but the waiter is just a lowly underling. And remember that those people talk, and casting assistants eventually often become casting directors, PAs eventually become assistant directors eventually become directors become producers. So treat all of those relationships like golden opportunities to foster them, to show people what you got. And in addition to your craft, a lot of it is like, it's, yeah, you got to be a good actor, but if you're an incredible actor, but you're also the biggest asshole in the world, then that's going to hurt you. But if you're an amazing actor and you're a great person on set, so they're like, this person delivers between action and cut, and they're really fun to be around, they're really positive, they go over and above to make people feel welcome and warm, and they make people laugh, then you're going to get asked back to sets. So yeah, really foster those personal connections.
And I do highly recommend doing student films, because you never know where those students are going to be in the next 20 to 30 years. Because like if you do a student film now and it's with some director who knows a bunch of lighting and does all the editing as well, and then they work up and they become a PA, and then they become assistant directors, and then they become directors, and then they become producers. And you know what? That one student film that you did 20 years ago is now going to lead you into another 5-figure, 6-figure role for 7-8 days, maybe 3 months on set for a project that you've hoped and dreamed for those 20 years. Like, you really never know where your personal connections are going to go. So take every relationship that you develop, take it as close to your heart as you can, because these people are going to develop into a family of yours. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about working in show business, is that eventually everything becomes part of a team, and sometimes you don't even realize it. And I love being a part of a team, because like when you're a part of a team, you're part of a group that's driving towards that one thing. And that's why I love sports personally. Like, I love watching the Leafs fight to get to the Stanley Cup playoffs and then compete to the Stanley Cup. And I love basketball for the same reasons. I want to see my teams make it to the finals and compete for that cup, because I know that for me, a championship is booking that 5 to 6 figure role, being on set every single day. That is my championship in my mind. That's what I'm fighting for. And I know that there's a team that's going to get me there. There's a team that surrounds me. Lars is part of that team. There's so many people that come through these doors that are part of that team that I there he is. Look at that. Strong. But like, you work on developing that team because you never know where it's going to lead you. And that, I think, that is the most beautiful thing of all. And I always say, embrace the chaos. Life is chaos.
Right.
Embrace it, because you never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah, and this, I can vouch for student films too. When I was new in the business at the time, I didn't go to theater school or TV film school, so I started in stand-up and sketch comedy that led to dinner theater. I was fortunate enough to get a reco for an agent, so I started doing commercial work. But I did every student film. I've done a student film, I think, for every TV and film / theater school in the GTA, Greater Toronto area at some point. And then I did a ton of background, and that was my on-set training. That was my real life. Like, okay, what's a director? What's he saying? He's saying speeding, sound speed. Like I didn't know any of the lingo. I didn't know any of the positions. And I learned that by being on student films and through doing background. Yep. I didn't want to do background for too long, but enough to get a sense of like, oh, okay. And I was on some huge productions. So you're like, holy shit, this is like 500 people on this thing between crew and extras and background and cast. And you really see at a top level what it's all about. And I'll give an example. One of the guys, he's a fantastic Toronto actor and writer and producer, Brian Quintero. And shout out to Brian, because way back in like 2013, we did a weird random short film. I want to say it was for Humber College, and we were both in it. We didn't know each other. We had a good day on set, and then we ended up being Facebook friends, of course, and hung out. And then 2017, he rented the studio here to do a casting session for a short film that he was co-producing. And the director of that came in and he met me and we kind of vibed. And then lo and behold, like a week later, I get a message. The director that Brian brought here was casting for a feature film, and they still had a role in it that they hadn't booked yet. So at the time, I booked a fairly big role in a feature that only came from a connection that I had through a student film 5 years ago. And I never would have known that, but it's just develop relationships early. And the biggest thing is, I think people don't realize, people are always reaching up. Like you're like reaching up for your savior to then pull you up. Like how can I meet an A-lister or meet someone famous and they can take a shining to me? Or I want to meet someone at a film festival or see a celebrity in a restaurant and pitch them my thing. It's like, look to your peers first. It is way, way, way more likely that the people that you grew up with in TV and film school, in theater school, the casting assistants that you developed good relationship with early on, the people you worked with on set early on in your career, way more likely that those are the people that are going to eventually lift you up than you DMing Tom Hanks and being like, can I be in Castaway too? Can I play the volleyball and can I play Wilson in Castaway 2?
Lars, you'd be great. You'd be great as Wilson.
It's called Castaway 2, but it's spelled T-O-O. Not this again. Not this again. Yeah, so I think just realize that it's going to be your peer group around you. And sometimes I think people have the mistake of like, it's that crabs in a bucket mentality, where if you throw a bunch of crabs in a bucket, they're going to try to climb out, but then all the others are grabbing them and pulling them down, and everyone's trying to get up while pushing the other ones down. It's the wrong mentality. Don't even try to get out of the bucket. Just stay in the bucket with all your crab buddies and be like, let's make a fucking crab movie in this bucket. If we're climbing out of the bucket, like, who knows? We don't know what's outside the bucket, but we got all of us here in this bucket. That's my crab analogy bucket. Did not know that one was coming, but it's pretty good. That's a pretty good. Be like, I got an iPhone, I got some lights, I got a ring light, we got a bunch of crabs here. Let's make the best fucking crab movie ever. I got Brandon.
I like this. I like that. It's good.
Yeah, that
I
was
like
good.
it.
That was good. Don't be crabs in a bucket. I want to shout out Ksenia here because she threw up a comment. You want to throw that one up?
Yep.
Ksenia says, check out Casting Frontier. Casting Frontier is another website. Some of them are pay to play. Actually, another one that we didn't shout out here was Mandy. Yeah. Mandy.com. I think they're actually global, especially if you're non-union. I paid for my Mandy membership over and over, like whatever it was. Say it was $100 a year to get a pro membership where you get access to everything. Right. And one booking would more than cover your yearly subscription to that. And what was I going to say? Yeah, I just think that. And I was also going to say they're often low hanging fruit. Like because some sites, the more access there is, the more amateurs might have access to it. So if you are a professionally trained actor and you're submitting on a site where they're getting submissions from people without professional headshots and without proper training, you're immediately going to stand out. So you might get some low-hanging fruit where you're just like, oh, thank God, finally a professional submitted to this. So even if you might get the sense that like, oh, this website, it's like a little less than professional, then you can be the professional standout that ends up booking the role in that case. So just check out those places.
Yeah, Star Now is also a great website as well. It's based out of New Zealand. Yeah, it's based out of New Zealand. It's international as well, but like there's been a couple of bookings that I've gotten from there. And like I do highly recommend it. Like people follow you on there as well. So like it's an interesting community.
Right.
Love it. Simba also had a question. He said, was that Kings of Leon? And I think he's talking about the Hero song.
Yeah, no, that's Nickelback. Kings of Leon, another great Canadian band, but they're like
they're Canadian?
Yeah, I think so. Aren't they? Aren't they? I thought they were from Hamilton. I think Kings of Leon is from Hamilton. Maybe I'm wrong. Nickelback definitely, but Kings of Leon, they sing I'm gonna use somebody like you. That's my Kings of Leon. He sings it much nicer than me. No, that was Nickelback. And they say a hero will save you. I'm not gonna let it be.
Featured in the first Spider-Man movie.
Right. And speaking again of heroes, if you have not done it already, register for Audition Hero, our live virtual training event coming up January 27th at 6 p.m. is day one. And you can step into your dream role in 2022. We're going to cover all things auditions, help you up-level your auditions, show you some ways and some tools to improve your professional auditions without tech hassles and without bugging your family and friends. And that also is going to lead into our new open enrollment of Actors Audition Club 2022. So go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero right now. Save your spot for that, and you can be a part of that. Ksenia says she loved that song. Oh, I'm going to use somebody like you. They had a few other songs too. That wasn't the only one. But once again, laughingvikings.com/audition club. Register for Audition Hero. Be a part of a global community of actors looking to step into their dream role in 2022 as heroes. Because once again, the world needs more heroes. Your family needs more heroes. Your community, the other actors around you, your actor friends need somebody to step up and be like, that is the guy. That guy is getting what he wants. He's fighting for what he wants, and he's going after it, and he's lifting up everyone around him. So be the role model. Be the hero. Think of your dream role and go after it in 2022, starting with our Audition Hero event on January 27th. Do it. And they say that a hero will save you.
I need a hero.
I need a hero. There's a lot of hero songs. Yeah.
It was great. I love that song.
The Mariah Carey. And then a hero. And there's a Foo Fighters one too.
Is that the Superman song?
I don't know.
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Whatever. Bottom line is just go save your spot to Audition Hero at laughingvikings.com/audition hero. Make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Hit us up on Instagram at Laughing Vikings, or our new specific account for Actors Audition Club at Actors Audition Club. We're sort of separating Laughing Vikings from Laughing Vikings Comedy, and then having our Laughing Vikings Actors Audition Club so that we can focus things in both accounts. So Laughing Vikings mainly going to be comedy moving forward. Actors Audition Club is going to be everything for actors and auditions and clubs. Joanna says, throw that, I can be your hero, baby. Oh, yeah. You can take my breath away. God, give it up for Enrique Iglesias. What's he doing these days? Haven't heard from him in a bit.
He hasn't signed up for Audition Hero.
All right, I'm going to announce it right now. Enrique Iglesias might be the musical guest. It's between Nickelback and Enrique Iglesias. Imagine that. That'd be great. Ksenia says, I can be your hero, Joanna. Look at this. We are bringing people together right here. Kansas City and LA heroes. Just we're really what we're creating is we're creating our own Justice League of Avengers here at never mind DC Comics, never mind Marvel. It's Laughing Vikings. Yeah, there you go. There you go. And the BK Broiler, oh, what a hero he is. The Snowmageddoner. He can no blizzard will stop him. You need to get to a place to do a podcast. Call the BK Broiler. He'll get there.
I'm there.
Yeah. All right. We gotta sign off now. Thank you so much for watching. Great episodes. Be sure to send us your comments, your feedback. If anytime you have suggestions or things you want to learn or episode topic discussions, be sure to send those. And I'm going to say it one more time. Go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero to save your spot at Audition Hero Live 2022, January 27th. Go there right now. And they say that a hero can save you. I'm not going to play it and play you. I can be your hero, baby. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.